2026 is when everything changes. Avatar will be back in full force. We're getting new shows, movies, games, everything. And this video is going to go over all the major announcements we currently have. Now, if you've been in the Avatar scene for quite some time, you would know that there has been a huge content drought. Obviously, we had the live action series at the beginning of the year, and it'll be coming out with season 2 in 2 years or so. But at the current moment, we have absolutely nothing. All we've known about is the adult Avatar Aang movie, and it will focus on Aang, Katara, and the rest of the gang. But this is not new information. I actually made multiple videos on this topic, and last year we had a leaked poster come out from CinemaCon, and we saw the new designs of the gang. We had Aang right here, which looks the most different. They gave him more of the anime eyes. People were split on that decision, but I overall liked it. But this poster gave a lot of fans optimism. Now, it was a leaked poster, and Viacom actually tried to take this down at the start, but it was so widespread that they actually had to give up. Since then, we've only gotten little breadcrumbs of information, and I want to start off with October 10th, 2025. This movie's not coming out on that date anymore. It's now coming out 3 months later on January 30th, 2026. And it's not really that big of a deal. January is a weird time to drop this movie, of course, but it does make sense with the strikes. Obviously, there's also frustration because we were supposed to get our first film in 2024 according to the original rumors, and as you can see on the date, it's the end of 2024, so that's definitely not happening. I think as we get closer, we're gonna see it move either up, maybe to the end of 2025, or it's gonna go more towards spring of 2026, and I think that one's more likely. I just don't see this date sticking. The movie's giving us completely new voice actors with the exception of Dante Bosco. He is still voicing Zuko, but last December I actually made a short on the new voice actor for Katara. It was rumored at the time, and this voice actor is known as Jessica Matten. Months later, in April of 2024, at that CinemaCon, this report was confirmed to be true, but she was not the only announcement because we got other ones such as Dave Bautista, which is a huge casting, and he's going to be playing the villain, which is super exciting. Now, online, people made some suggestions on what they thought his role would be. Some said he'd be a combustion bender because he does kind of look like Combustion Man, which that would be very cool. I like the idea, but I do feel like the creators have a different plan for him. And this is due to another report stating that Steven Yeun, Avatar Wan, is in this movie. Now, he could be voicing another character. We don't want to immediately jump to conclusions and say that he's returning and it might mess with the canon, but honestly, if we were dealing with an ancient spirit that returns and shakes the whole world up and could be in a conflict with them, and then Avatar Wan just pops out, kind of like how Avatar Roku would pop out to Zhong Zhong, or how Kyoshi popped up in Avatar Day. It could be something like that, and Aang has no idea what happened. We could have this spirit conflict, but also a conflict with the Four Nations. Now, they could also just be showing some season 2 clips from Korra and kind of like remaster them. But other than that, I feel like there is a bigger role for him to play in this. Anyways, let's get back to the rest of the cast. The new voice actor for Aang was confirmed to be the artist Eric Nam. Now, I'm not familiar with him, and I know that there is controversy around this casting, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But as for Toph and Sokka, we have Dion Kwan, who will be Toph. Now, she is legally blind, and she did voice Trixie in Fairly OddParents. That'll give you a good idea that this probably is Toph's casting. It wasn't listed in the official report that she is Toph, but when you use process of elimination, it's probably her, of course. And then lastly, we have Roman Zaragoza, who is likely to be Sokka. Now, we gotta go over the title for this movie because it has so many different titles. The title that got announced with these castings was Aang the Last Airbender, which is a decent title. I'll take it, nothing crazy, but there was also other rumored titles from last year, and even one that came out in the past couple of weeks. The ones from last year, we had Echoes and Aftershocks, Hidden Kingdom, and the one we just got, Lost Realm. And I'm not sure if it's gonna have Avatar Lost Realm at the front. We'll have to wait and see, but it's just good to keep a note on every single title they've considered. Now, this is all around solid news, but I will admit, when all this was coming out, it was a bit of a letdown for me, just because of how little we've gotten as we're so far into the Avatar Studios era, but we also do want quality, so we do have to be reasonable. But let's move away from from the movie and let's focus on the Earth Avatar series, which is meant to drop after the Avatar Aang movie. Now, this is a rumor, it's not an official report, but it comes to us from Night Edge Media, who's worked with Avatar News in the past, so I trust them, and they said back in August that the new Earth Avatar will be a female and be paraplegic, and she'll have a feline type of animal companion. Now, I want to emphasize for some of you that talk about Avatar Genji in the comments, he is a fan-made character from a well-done story, so he is not the official Avatar. But I'm really happy that we're getting a female Avatar again, because we had 2 male avatars with Roku Aang. Now we're gonna have Korra and then this Avatar. And it'll be interesting to see where this Avatar grows up. They might grow up in the cyberpunk city, Ba Sing Se, the desert, and I'm hoping it's the desert. I feel like that would be a cool location. Visiting the cyberpunk city would be cool, but I don't think we should live there. I feel like it should be a special occasion. But you can let me know what you think on that down below. But this Avatar's journey is gonna be completely different from everybody else. She's not gonna have a connection to her past lives. It's gonna be different fighting with her fake leg. There might even be energy bending, Dragon Ball type of fights, because that was rumors around a year ago. There's another series I also want to talk about, and it was a rumored announcement before. It is a preschool Avatar series. It kind of looks like the Chibi Avatar shorts we used to get. The reason I bring this up now is because Brian on the Braving of the Elements podcast discussed a brand new animation style, and it involves big heads. And I feel like this design would only work for a preschool show, but I could be wrong. It might be completely different, and this series, when announced, was rumored for 2026. I think it's safe to say that's not coming out that year, but regardless, it's exciting to know that they're working on multiple projects. Now, this video went over the new movie and series, but we gotta go over games because I did mention that at the start. I typically don't talk about gaming on this channel, and that's simply because I feel like most of the games, no offense, have been lackluster. It would just retell the story, or it would just have kind of mobile type of gameplay, and I'm happy to say that we're finally getting a game that everybody should purchase on day one. And this report came straight from the Braving of the Elements podcast as well. It's a AAA open world RPG called Avatar Ice Wars, and I love this title. This title is a work in progress though, it could change, and unlike the previous games, it's gonna have a fully fleshed out story straight from Mike and Brian, and it's gonna involve a volcano and an ice age. And as you can see, this early concept art shows you exactly what to expect. You'll be able to create your own bender, explore this world freely, and it'll be quite the adventure because this takes place 7,000 years in the past, which is so cool because as we know, some of the nations weren't fully developed yet, as we saw in the Smoke and Shadow comic with the Fire Nation, and this is far enough away from Wan, but also far enough away from modern day that the Avatar will have been established, the rules will be established, but it'll be interesting to see how things work in that time. Now, this game is in very early development, and it will not be coming to us until either 2027 or 2028, but it could even get pushed to later. They want to make this as good as possible, and I think we can wait, considering that before this game comes out, we're going to have Avatar Studios back in full force. Now, Saber Interactive is behind this game, and they're known for many popular releases, such as Warhammer, which was released this year. So yeah, 2026 is likely the beginning of a great era for Avatar fans. Or is it? Now, I say this because there's actually another Avatar game coming out next year in 2025. It is going to be more of a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat type game, which is awesome, and it'll definitely hold many of us fans off for the time being. But that's not the only thing that'll hold us off, because we're getting a comic as well. This one shot is called Ashes of the Academy, and it's going to involve Zuko, Mei, and Zuko's half-sister, Kiyi. We'll be seeing the Royal Academy that Azula, Mei, and Ty Lee went to as children. Only this time, Mei is actually going to take on a teacher role to keep an eye on Kiyi. And this is to make sure all is well, because Zuko is concerned, and I'm just so happy we're revisiting these characters, because it feels like it's been ages since we've seen them. It's probably going to focus mainly on Mei and Kiyi, but I'm optimistic that we'll get a relationship status on Zuko and Mei, at least towards the end of this, as I made a video on this very topic last year, putting the pieces together on if Mei is actually Fire Lord Azumi's mom, and without a definitive answer, everything is just speculation. But that's all the Avatar news we currently know. I'll definitely be making another video or a short if major news breaks, and if you want to see that Mei Fire Lord Azumi video, you can watch it right here. I'll see you all next time.